There are loads of different types of walls you can make in Minecraft. Big walls, small walls, stone walls, wood walls, ornate walls, plain walls, walls made of bushes, and walls made of, well, walls. But one wall that can really make your Minecraft world look more real is a countryside stone wall. And I've been asked to show you how to make one. No problem. Let's crack on. Now, obviously, you can use whatever you want to make these, but I've got a decent palette inside this chest. It's important to note that this is just suggestion of 4 stone variants with their slab and their steps, some green in the form of bushes and some vines, some glow lichen, buttons for detail, gates so you can get through, and also some fence posts and some light just so it can reduce the spawns around them. Let's get on with it. And what's great about these walls is they don't have to be in a straight line. They can follow your countryside the way you want them to, or you can just use them as an enclosure. A bit like I did here with this aesthetic crop farm design I made a little while ago. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to build it across a landscape like this. Now, step 1 feels like a bit of a waste of time, but I promise you this is worth it. Failing to plan is the same as planning to fail. So make sure that you place out where you want your wall to go in your countryside. Put a little bit of cobblestone, use cobblestone because it's going to be a big feature of the wall, and place it around in the shape that you want the wall to go. So my wall is going to follow approximately that line, and I could extend it in both ways if I wanted to. Now this bit is where you can just get creative. Get yourself a selection of all the different stone variants you're going to play with and place some blocks and then also some upside down steps like that. And then you can get yourself some right way round steps like that. Get yourself some slabs and put them at the top and also at the bottom, and build up a picture of how you want your wall to be. So you can have steps going into steps and slabs going into slabs. That step could go like that. You can see we've got ourselves a little table type formation. When you've got a jump up on here, you need to place a full block on the top and then place at least a step or a slab on the underside. I'm not going to do 2 of those actually. I'm going to change that up so we've got a different texture. You can then build that along the entirety of your wall. So you should have a single layer of stone, slabs and steps that looks a little bit like that. And you can see that it's a mixture of cobblestone, stone brick, andesite and tuff. But with it being only 1 block high, it's a bit 2-dimensional, so we need to change that. So we're going to repeat the process on a second level. We're going to put steps, we're going to put slabs, we're going to put full blocks, and we're going to make sure that we've got a nice uneven surface for us to work with. Try not to put too many full blocks next to each other, otherwise it won't look raggedy enough. And make sure you leave plenty of gaps. So there you can leave a gap there between that block and this slab right there. And carry that process on until you get all the way to the end. Make sure that you have at least 1.5 blocks at every single stop. And try and avoid putting a full block on top of another full block. And you should end up with a too high wall that looks a little bit like this, but obviously in your palette. And then just check along your wall that you've not got any big solid blots of colour. Like this just behind me, I've got 3 bits of stone. Stone stair, and then a block of stone there. So I'm going to knock that out and I'm going to replace it with tuff, and that just changes that up beautifully. And now that could be your wall finished. If you've made sure it is at least 1.5 blocks all the way along, it is also mob proof. However, if you're not bothered about it being mob proof, you can add in some extra detail to make it look even better. And that already looks quite a lot more effective, but we can do more. This is where your decoration blocks come into their own. Bushes, vines, lichen, fence post light, stone buttons, and also even maybe some 2-high flowers. And here's where you'll hear me say something I don't say very often. Don't overdo the bushes. I know, I love bushes. I don't want to put them all over the place. But if you put too many on, you're going to lose the formation of your wall. So just put a few in. I think that is probably plenty. Where you've got full block faces like there, just place in a couple of vines. Do not do too many vines. It will look really weird. But put in a few. The back of steps works really well as well. You could also use just a little bit of glow lichen. You put it on the bushes. You can put it on top of blocks, which you can't do with the vines. You could even place them around on the floor. There's so many choices. Don't do this too much because you'll find that it looks just a little bit too grey, but it is a really good way of just creating a bit of a different texture on top of some of these blocks. What I also like to do is pop in a fence post every now and again, not too close together. Again, it will look a little bit weird, but fairly regularly all around your wall. And once you've done that, place a lantern on top of each of the fence posts. It makes sure that you've got lighting around your base or wherever you've put your wall, and it ensures that you don't get too many mob spawns. And then finally, perhaps add in some last little details. Buttons work as a really, really good way of adding something that looks like a stone or similar into your build, and it gives another level of detail. And then finally, If you want some colour, bring in some 2 high flowers. They really add a splash. And you'll end up with a wall that looks amazing and will really add some detail and realism to your Minecraft survival world. For some additional detail and some colour, poke out the blocks underneath a solid block on the floor, place in some water and then replace the dirt. Give that a hoe. You might need to get rid of something that you put next to it like I have, and then place in some wheat seeds. That makes for a nice effect and a yellow colour when it grows up. I quite like the contrast that gives. And don't forget, to give you passage through the wall, you can always put a fence gate in between 2 solid blocks. You can even use one of your buttons so it'll open and close. This type of wall can make a great addition to your Minecraft landscape and turn a really good looking Minecraft survival world into a great looking one. And remember to use whatever palette you want. Deep slate is also really good with this type of design. But I bet you could come up with all kinds of ideas. Remember to link me in Twitter and Instagram and let me see what you've done with it. I used a very similar design to surround the sheep pen of my shepherd's house in my custom village world. It makes such a big difference to the landscape. I really hope that you got something out of this how to build a wall in Minecraft tutorial. If you did, do let me know in the comments below. I love to hear from you. And if there's any other kind of tutorial that you'd like me to do for you, do let me know that as well. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. You take it easy now. Bye.